Monmouth University national poll shows Bernie Sanders holding a 10% lead over Joe Biden. They are followed by Pete Buttigieg, Elizabeth Warren, and Michael Bloomberg. This coming as new video shows Joe Biden leaving a fundraiser in New York this week and being heckled by protesters telling him to drop out. Watch this.
Drop out, Joe! Drop out, Joe! Drop out, Joe! Skip Nevada! Skip South Carolina! Just go home early!
Wow. Joining the conversation this morning is Mattie Duppler, Dagan McDowell, and Scott Martin. Nobody wants to get that as you're leaving the fundraiser. Wow. Holy moly. What'd you think of that?
Oh, looks bad for Joe Biden. Remember, the reason that Joe Biden thought he was heir apparent to the Democratic nomination is because Democrats will labor under the delusion that the Obama administration was good for Democrats, when in reality, the Obama administration saw a complete decimation of Democratic bench at the state, local, and federal level because people rejected the policies that were coming out of Washington. Joe Biden trying to resurrect them as rewriting the history on that administration, I think, is not going very well for him.
I'll tell you what's funny, though, is the hecklers, let's say, actually have a point, though, because the sooner that Biden gets out of the way, if he does, say, not do so well in Nevada or South Carolina, the better it's going to be for the Democrats, because they're in disarray right now, and they've got to circle the wagons, and they've got to get behind somebody and start the ground offensive against Trump in November, because otherwise they're going to be left in the dust.
Are they going to get behind Bernie Sanders?
No.
They're colluding against him again.
Exactly.
And to use an overused word, the establishment in Washington within the Democratic Party, they hate Bernie Sanders because he's going to say what he wants to say. He's going to do what he wants to do. And his ideology doesn't fall in line with the party establishment. And so but again, the people who support Bernie Sanders are very vocal and they pull no punches. I don't know who that was heckling Joe Biden. Joe Biden doesn't care if anybody yells at him as long as he walked out of that meeting with some money in his pocket, because he only started this year with $9 million.
The money's going fast, though.
Right.
He's going to be out soon. And the money's going to run out soon.
And when you can, smell the stench of failure, the money will, people will not give him money.
And but
Bloomberg here.
Yeah, speaking of money,
if you start looking at the numbers, Hillary Clinton and Donald Trump combined spent only $1.2 billion in the 2016 election, and that's with both their mainstream fundraising and any PACs involved. Of course, Hillary Clinton spent $770 million, and Donald Trump only spent $452 million. But you talk about money, he can spend more than $2 billion. He's worth, $62 billion. The amount, he's going to have trouble spending that money because literally the infrastructure for politics, whether it's advertising, online advertising, and the like, it can't even absorb that kind of money. So he could, just by sheer monetary or financial heft alone, he could decimate the entire field.
I know. He's really one to watch. Yeah. Look what happened at the end of last year. He gave more than $100 million to the Democrats to take to retake the House. They retook the House. It was successful.
Right. And this is the challenge for Democrats, why they can't get out of their own way with Iowa. We'll see what happens in Nevada. Without inertia behind at least one or two candidates, those fundraising opportunities really do dry up, and they continue to keep the entire pool really diversified, and people don't know where to put their money or their attention.
So how about Hillary Clinton? There's been a lot of speculation about what she wants to do. Will the former presidential candidate enter the 2020 race? Two of my past guests have said so. Watch this.
I think Hillary Clinton is waiting in the wings to come in and say, I'm going to save the Democratic Party from Michael Bloomberg.
You think she still comes in?
Michael, the Howard Stern interview tells me more than anything that she's coming in.
Unbelievable. All right. And Bloomberg has been a factor. Do you think she still is thinking about running for president?
There's still a couple of days here. I don't know whether she'll look at the Michael Bloomberg thing and say, the field's too crowded now, I missed my opportunity, or the opposite. Wow, the field's weak. I could come in. I could get 165,000 donors. I'm tied with Biden in some of these early states if I get in. There's still a political logic there for her.
Now, this was about a month ago for both of those guys saying this. You've been talking to people recently, and there's a debate about it as well.
Right. People are still talking about it. Is she out talking to, money men? Somebody told me, who is not intimately involved and not directly involved in politics, just said that she is out there trying to make money and make sure that she's still part of the conversation. What's driving her would be being out of the spotlight, if you will.
No, she's
Because
trashing
again,
Bernie Sanders.
after she lost, who took the spotlight? Who is the most powerful woman in politics? Somebody who's never actually been in politics. It would be Michelle Obama, with her best-selling memoir, one of the best of all time. She was selling out giant theaters on this book tour that she was doing. At the end of the day, this is about
No, I think that's
money.
a good point. I don't know what kind of fervor would really get behind her for the Democratic
Zero.
side because she
I mean,
already
the
blew it,
analog
and
is
so
the
they
Biden
need somebody
campaign.
completely
Please
different.
stay home, Hillary.
But the analog here is the Biden campaign, and look, he's cratering. So where does Hillary have a coalition that emerges that's stronger than his? It doesn't make sense to me. The math's not there.
Yeah, well, look, she is out trashing Bernie, that's for sure. She said nobody likes him, nobody can work with him. I don't know what that's
Why
about.
can't they learn the lesson from Trump?
They're not.
The more that you trash the man, the more it energizes his supporters, the more other people start looking at him as an alternative to an establishment Democratic Party that lost to Donald Trump.
And the more that people say this side of the aisle is rigged, they still won't let a fair shot take place. We have a lot to talk about this morning. We've got a big hour ahead. Pack your bags. We're going to Miami. We're taking you inside.